A feeling of festering discontent is now evident across much of rural Europe. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. And worse still, it's not even a new phenomenon. From the Yellow Vest in France to the farmer citizen movement in the Netherlands, from the blockades of isolated Irish villages to protests in Poland, small-town Europe is increasingly feeling ignored and disconnected. Why does this matter? Because it poses a huge threat for centre-right parties whose traditional countryside base is beginning to head to the extremes, and this involves much more than just farmers. These protests actually extend well beyond the simplistic notion of rural areas being tied to the land. They are really about seeking representation for those living outside big cities who feel excluded from policy-making in national capitals. They are about giving a voice to small-town residents who feel threatened by government's increasingly rigid approach to social and environmental objectives. And this is a process, correctly identified by the French government, driven by a decades-long and increasing social divide between urban and rural areas. For too long, the mainstream politicians have neglected rural Europe, and now we are reaping the consequences. But there are ways to help regain the centre ground. A repurposed common agricultural policy must place European food security at its very core. COVID and the war in Ukraine have shown just how vulnerable the EU remains in this globalised world. Rural areas are vital to Europe's ability to thrive in the future. Rural communities are an easy target, but they cannot be made the scapegoat for combating climate change. A successful transition to a low-carbon economy means the burden must be shared across all economic sectors, including those sectors which are the biggest carbon emitters: manufacturing, energy supply and housing. For too long, the buzzword of investment has been used by policymakers as a lazy policy for small-town Europe. This just has to change. Jobs, affordable and energy-efficient housing, connectivity to larger regional centres must be the three key pillars of a meaningful rural development strategy. Rural communities need a secure place in this expanding Europe, and the centre-right must lead this fight.